can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gonna feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood.
What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. This video, we're going to talk about the APE play. Alright, and how I shared with y'all in the past that it's been a trap the whole time. And the trap has been triggered and things are about to get going. Most people can't understand what's going on because what's happened is we have this information out here and this information out here and this information out here on what this play is about, but then a lot of people's forgotten where your source is at. Alright, and other people in this fucking play got their information from Lou. So let's just keep that in mind from here on out. Okay, so when we're talking about the AMC APE play, we have to perhaps look at this from a different perspective. So here we go. That on August 4th, 2022, APE was created. If you were short an AMC share, then when APE was created, it created one short APE. Alright? And it's believed that AMC had approximately, hypothetically, 9 billion synthetic naked positions out there. Alright? And we had a $520 million float. Well, APE was created. And when APE was created on August 4th, brokers suspended trading of APE because they could not locate any shares. If you remember, they had places like Cash App said it would be 5 days, Fidelity said 4 days, and E-Trade said 2 days, and so forth and so on. Well, what was happening also at that same time was overseas clearinghouses could not deposit APE into their shareholders' accounts because the DTCC was holding up the shares. Alright, this is when APE was created, and on the same day that it was created, we find out 2 weeks later, there were 47 million FTDs created on the first day as well. Here, you see the AMC release and conversion. AMC had approximately, if you believe the theory, 9 billion AMC shares shorted into the market. And when APE was created, 9 billion APE shares were also created synthetically. Alright, so then you had a float of AMC with 520 and APE with a float of 520, and both stocks had the exact same amount of synthetic shares at the beginning. People, it's important to note that they went through a lot of shit to create these supposedly 9 billion or more or less, if any, synthetic naked positions. They went through hell. They were swapping that shit back and forth so fast, trying to get to each broker a QSIP number for a stock that they could do this with, and eventually they pulled it off. And everybody is saying APE was a failure. It didn't do what it was supposed to do. But this was the greatest move anybody could make against the short sellers. Why? Because now, after he's caused them to create the exact same amount of synthetic AMC shares over there with APE, he's recalling his APE, and he wants 1 billion. That's it. Whatever's left outside the door, after that door is closed, we're going to deal with that at that moment. But for now, we're at a point where he says, I'm taking my bat and my ball and I'm going home. I'm taking my 1 billion APE and I'm going back into AMC with it. The rest of you are stuck the fuck out. That's the play. Now they scramble and they want to know, how do we get our 9 billion? But before we go any further, let me say this. is that from the moment it's been created, you've been able to buy. And every time we buy, I just bought 50 shares of APE last week. So when I bought 50 shares of APE, that increased the placeholder count by 50. Do you understand that? And that every time somebody presses buy, it's the placeholder number increasing, but they don't have the shares to back it up with. So I remembered when they were questioning about whether there was 8 quadrillion shares of AMC. No. There were 8 quadrillion FTDs from people pressing buy, and then brokers putting placeholders in the accounts, and there's no shares there to back that placeholder up. Do you understand? Placeholders. That's where this is at, people. We search the world and we only have to look into our accounts. That when you think synthetic, naked, whatever you want to think, if you press buy and that number goes into your account as a placeholder, that broker just went short that share till he finds it. See? That's how to understand this play. But now, instead of them having to deal with 9 billion AMC, they got the 9 billion AMC plus however many AMC's been bought since the August. And then you got the 9 billion APE. And every time somebody pressed buy since August, the placeholders have increased. It's the placeholders, people. That's the key to everything. The quicker we can understand, the only thing you need to understand is that when you press buy, they put a number in your account. That is not a share. You're whitelisted to a share, but there's no share to whitelist to. That's the play. And now the next move in the play is take our 1 billion real APE, put it back into AMC, and now let's talk about these people that are going to have 8 share numbers in their account after the billion have been returned. Somebody has to clean that mess up. So see, while y'all all are still fighting about whether we should do a reverse stock split or not, we haven't even got to that point. Let's put APE back in to AMC first. Then we'll deal with the split, which I got some more to talk about that too. But the only thing that matters, people, is for you to understand is the number in your account that matters. There are probably a quadrillion placeholders that if people hit the sell button, we would nuke the financial system if we hit the sell button, because they could not cover everybody. There's quadrillions of fucking placeholders out there. It's that simple, people. Now, once you can get to that understanding and you can lock that into your mind, and that no matter what you hear, that you understand that that's a placeholder that we're dealing with, and that's what they're wanting to get from you, then you can start talking about, well, what will my price target be? With that, I'll let you go. Hope this was educational for you. See you in the next video. Be blessed.